Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a source that you might be interested in, and today we have a really interesting one, and basically pull out the key stuff you need to know fast, without all the information overload.
Exactly. And today we're diving into something that might be on a lot of minds, setting up that perfect nursery space.
Yeah, specifically looking at a Cozy Terracotta Nursery Color Palette from BrandCanvasStudio.
Mm-hmm. And our goal here, our sort of mission, isn't just to list the colors.
Right.
It's more about understanding how this specific set of colors can actually create a nursery that feels, cozy, welcoming, but also stimulating in the right way for a baby.
Because color choice really does make a huge difference to the whole mood of a room, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It sets the tone.
Yeah.
And this source gives us descriptions of the specific terracotta-inspired colors and some pretty practical ideas for using them.
Okay, great. So let's jump in. Looking at this whole terracotta palette, what's the main idea? What's the feeling it's aiming for?
Well, the core concept seems to be about using those warm, earthy tones, the ones we naturally associate with comfort and calm.
Makes sense for a nursery.
Yeah, but it's not just about calm. It cleverly mixes in some playful, vibrant energy, too. It's finding that balance.
Ah, okay. So calm and comforting, but with a little bit of engagement.
Exactly. A haven, yes, but one that also gently stimulates a developing mind.
I like that balance. Okay, so let's break down the colors themselves.
Yeah.
First up is light terracotta. What's its role?
Light terracotta is really positioned as the foundation, kind of the main backdrop.
For the walls, maybe?
Yeah, perfect for walls. It brings this soft, gentle warmth that isn't, too much. And what's interesting is how versatile it is.
Oh, so.
Well, the source says it works well with the deeper, earthy colors, kind of reinforcing that natural vibe.
Right.
But it also pairs nicely with pastels. So you could bring in softer accents without losing that grounded feeling.
Interesting. So it doesn't lock you in too much?
Yeah. Not at all. Think of that feeling of sun-baked earth, but really subtle. That's the kind of secure, comforting base it aims for.
And using it on big areas like walls, does it make the room feel smaller?
Actually, the idea is it can make it feel both spacious and intimate, cozy, but not cramped.
Gotcha. Okay, a really flexible starting point then. Next is blush clay.
Sounds delicate.
It is. It's described as this really soft, kind of nurturing, pinkish tone, almost like a whisper of color.
So not a bright pink.
No, much softer. The idea is to weave it into things like the crib, maybe the changing table, or through textiles, pillows, rugs, that sort of thing.
So more for accents and key pieces.
Exactly. And the source mentions it fits into different design styles while keeping things feeling light and airy. It's a gentle warmth, really.
Okay, I can picture that. A subtle softness. Now, classic terracotta. This sounds like the heart of the palette.
It really does. This one's presented as a richer, more medium red kind of terracotta, more pronounced.
So how would you use that without it being overwhelming? Strategically. That's the key word here. Think about using it as a focal point.
Like an accent wall.
Perfect example. Or maybe a statement piece of furniture, like a comfy chair for feeding, or even the crib itself if you want it to stand out.
I see. So it adds depth.
Depth and a bit of sophistication, yeah.
Yeah.
And it creates this really lovely contrast with the lighter tones, like that light terracotta or blush clay. Gives it energy, but still balanced.
Okay, so that's where you bring in a bit more visual punch. Following that, we've got rust orange. Sounds energetic.
It definitely injects some energy, but it's still described as earthy, not like a neon orange or anything.
Right, more grounded.
Exactly. And the recommendation is to use this one more sparingly.
For smaller things.
Yeah, pops of color and accent pieces. Think maybe a lamp, some cheerful curtains, storage bins, little touches like that.
So it livens things up.
Precisely. It pairs well with the softer colors to create a lively feel without, taking over the whole room's calmness.
Makes sense. Little sparks here and there. Okay, next on the list is burnt sienna. That sounds deeper, richer.
It is. Burnt sienna is described as adding sophistication and depth. It's a deep, rich shade.
Similar to classic terracotta or different?
A bit different. Maybe less red, more brown toned. The suggestion is using it for accent furniture again, maybe shelves, the changing table, or even just picture frames.
Ah, okay, so subtle details.
Yeah. And the key thing is it complements the other terracotta tones. It adds another layer of that earthy richness, but it doesn't dominate. It's about creating texture within that warm family of colors.
Building layers of warmth. Got it. And the last one is deep brick red. Sounds quite bold.
It does, yeah. This one's position is bringing a sense of like luxury, but also real coziness, a very grounded, secure feeling.
How would you use such a strong color?
Well, the source suggests maybe as a statement, perhaps a feature wall again, if you're feeling bold.
Or maybe larger furniture.
Or larger furniture, exactly. The main idea is the warmth and security it provides, and it apparently pairs beautifully with the lighter tones, creating this mix of comfort and elegance.
Wow, okay. So it's quite a spectrum within this terracotta theme, isn't it? From the very light to these deep, rich tones.
Absolutely. It gives you a lot to play with.
So we've got these 6 colors. How does the source suggest actually putting them together in a nursery? For you listening, thinking about your own space, where do you start?
Well, it gives some pretty clear pointers. For the walls, the general advice is to stick with the lighter end, the light terracotta or the blush clay.
To keep it calm and bright.
Exactly. They create that harmonious, serene backdrop, and importantly, warm. Everything else then feels balanced against that.
Right. You need that calm foundation in a nursery, I think. So walls are light. What about the furniture? The crib, the changing table, maybe a chair?
Yeah, for those key pieces, the suggestion is you could bring in some of the more visually interesting shades like the rust orange, burnt sienna, or even that classic terracotta.
To make them stand out a bit.
Right. They can act as focal points, add some personality, but still keep everything feeling connected within that warm palette.
Okay. And then the final layer. Accessories, textiles,
Yeah.
rugs, curtains, cushions.
Perfect opportunity there.
Mm-hmm.
The source highlights these as ideal for bringing in maybe the more vibrant shades like the rust orange or even touches of the deep brick red without it feeling like too much.
Because they're smaller items.
Exactly. And it gives you flexibility. You can add pops of color and texture easily. Plus, you can change these out more easily as the baby grows or, your tastes change.
That's a good point. Easy to update.
Mm-hmm. You could start subtle and add bolder touches later.
So if we boil it all down,
Yeah.
What's the main takeaway from this cozy terracotta-inspired color palette? What should you really hang on to?
I think the core message is that this isn't just a random collection of colors, it's a thought-out strategy.
Right.
Using these 6 related shades, layering them intentionally, lets you transform a nursery into a space that's, yes, visually appealing and inviting, but also one that actually contributes to that feeling of warmth, security, and even gentle stimulation. It's about getting that cohesive, elegant feel through smart color choices.
So this deep dive really shows how powerful color choices can be, doesn't it? Especially in a space like a nursery. It's not just decoration.
Absolutely not. It really shapes the whole atmosphere.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? It prompts a question for you listening.
Yeah, like how might different color palettes in other parts of your home, your living room, bedroom, maybe even your office, how might they be affecting your mood and well-being?
That's a really interesting thought, the subtle power of the colors around us.
It really makes you consider your environment more consciously.
Definitely food for thought beyond just the paint chips. And if you are inspired by this terracotta idea and want to dig deeper.
Yeah, the source does provide links. You can find more ideas and other palettes over at canvaslush.com and also at BrandCanvasStudio.com.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Some really practical and inspiring ideas there.